Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to this special series of videos on natal planets conjunct the nodes and transiting planets conjunct the nodes. Originally, when I created these videos, they ended up being over an hour long, where I went through the sky and talked about each of the planets. Now, what I've done is I've edited these videos down so that you can get right to the information that you want. Look at the exact planet that you want. I want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you especially for the suggestions that you guys give me on the videos that you want to see in the YouTube comments, on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and of course my website, nadiyashah.com. Please do keep those questions, suggestions, interactions, and positive energy coming. It really does mean so much to me. And if you like these videos, please share them. And of course, let me know online. Enjoy. Neptune is next up. Neptune conjunct the South Node. A little like it can manifest as I described with Jupiter conjunct the South Node, but Jupiter conjunct the South Node is a little bit different in that it's more of a party energy. Neptune is more of an escapist energy. And so in the early part of life, there can be a lot of escapism. And so when I say something like this, it isn't so much about partying in the show. This is more about, sometimes just having, just being a real pothead in the early part of life, or it's more of an attraction to energies or states of being that are about coming down, are about escaping. The depressive energy, if you will, tends to manifest with this. And I don't necessarily mean depression per se, but what I mean is that the spiritual quest, which is ultimately what Neptune is about, that spiritual quest can manifest in a way that has more to do with what is happening, sort of the sensitivity that is there, and trying to figure out how to manage that sensitivity is how, I think in my humble opinion, I do think that when you see people who are sort of really into some type of substance or practice that is about just really being very, it's called alkaline, right? Like just being really like, hey, how's it going? Really being very sort of detached. That type of energy tends to be more about learning about your sensitivity and how to manage it in a way that empowers you and uplifts the collective as well. But again, this is about being plugged into source, but even more so, this is also about creative energy as well, artistic energy, and trusting that there is sort of a creative flow, if you will, that can actually flow through you and bring magic and miracles to life. But when it's the South Node, there's sort of an over-reliance on this and on miracles instead of taking ownership for the miracles and embodying that miracle. So, I think about this whole idea of there's this very famous sort of little tale that said where there was a flood and there was a guy on his roof and he said, "Oh God, please save me." And then somebody came along with a boat and he said, "No, God's going to save me." And then somebody else comes along with a plane and he says, "No, God's going to save me." And then someone else comes along with some other type of vehicle, or if you will, and he says, "No, God is going to save me." And then he ends up dead and he ends up in heaven and he says, "How come you didn't save me?" And God says, "Well, I sent you a boat and I sent you a plane and I sent you this other thing, a raft as well, and you didn't take it." So this is those people, it can be those people who are sort of on that roof from time to time and saying, "No, I'm going to be saved. I'm going to be all right. Everything will be fine." Instead of actually looking around and seeing how, the miracles are working. The signs are everywhere. And so that becomes a part of the sacred learning. And this can be attracting people in the early part of life who encourage escapism as well. And I would also say when I look at this, I have to say, even though Jupiter tends to be more associated with gurus as well, I do think when I look at this, the discovery of Uranus sort of came at a time of what the New Age sort of emerging and the Theosophy movement as well. And if you think about what was taking place at that time with the discovery of Neptune, there was a lot of sort of charlatans, if you will, right? There were a lot of people who were saying, "I'm a medium, I'm psychic, I'm gifted, I can provide the answer to you." A lot of people were doing this and people were going to them as saviors. So it's about finding a savior for yourself. And ultimately, we are our own embodiment of that energy. We are here to sort of not just save ourselves per se. And I know I'm using language. I don't mean to make anybody uncomfortable by using sort of religious terminology, but ultimately it's not about being rescued. It's not about having somebody else save you. It's not about having a guru who's going to do the work for you and dedicating yourself to this guru. It's more about, I think one of the spiritual lessons of this time is about understanding that we are all that energy. We are that we are projecting onto other people. And how is it that you are going to actually help yourself in your spiritual quest? How is it that you are actually going to embody that sort of be a guru to yourself, trust your inner guru? And so in the early part of life, there can be sort of that search or even attachment to guru figures, if you will, or people who encourage you to escape, people who encourage you to leave a sense of self-identity behind and instead give and merge with whether it's a collective or otherwise. But then that ultimately is meant to be evolved beyond. When you have Neptune conjunct the North Node, I mean, these are people who are given lots of opportunities to develop their artistic sensibilities, will attract people who encourage them to develop their artistic sensibilities, also their spiritual sensibilities as well. This is about really connecting to an energy of miracles and allowing them to come forward. And this is also about attracting people who you feel might come out of nowhere and bring miracles to your life, and then just as quickly might even leave as well, because Neptune is god of the seas. And so we can also attract like spiritual mentors as well. But these are going to be people who are about encouraging you to see the guru within you, as opposed to you looking at them as some sort of guru as well.